And you won't ask them to remove it for
Would you
for
care to make
discussion.
some final comments?
I've got a lot of comments, certainly. Thank you. All right, let me get into the rest of what I was going to say. I did have a question. I was looking at an article, Fort Lauderdale, September 8, 2009, Sun Sentinel, called "The Politics of Power: FPL Flexes Its Muscle." It talked about how they use the money that we give them in the power bill to basically lobby, to give money to politicians for their campaigns. They've got a foundation where they give a lot of money, and essentially they're buying a lot of influence in that legal mechanism. I just wanted to make sure that nobody here on the dais or over here has received funds from FPL ever, or intends to receive funds in the future from FPL. And that could be funds in terms of the campaign contribution, or it could be funds that somebody received as a prior municipal employee.
Commissioner Cooper, I seriously think that question is out of line.
I don't think so. I think it's an important... Is it not? Will people not answer it?
I'm going to ask our attorney if that's something that would be required at the reading of an ordinance or the voting of an ordinance.
Required?
Yes.
No.
But it's a question that I've posed, and it's not illegal to ask the question. You know, if people don't want to answer it, that's fine.
Well, I certainly have it.
And I haven't. Okay, on to the next. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did receive a refund. I think it was in 2005. They had a fuel rebate.
Did he?
That they gave to every account.
All right. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure. And we never received money, I think, to finish a project or as part of the foundation. In nothing ever like that. In a prior place of employment. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
When I worked for the city of South Miami, FPL made a contribution to one of the recreation centers, but FPL gets involved in the community all the time.
Sure.
Mr. Rubin, Alida, would you say that that's odd that FPL contributes to municipalities?
Okay. But our manager did recommend going with the FPL franchise fee and has received funds in terms of a project.
Commissioner Cooper, really?
Okay. In terms of a project, I was just going to finish.
Commissioner Cooper, do you have a different line?
In terms of,
do you have a different line?
I've got lots to finish with, but I just, in terms of a project that was funded by
Commissioner
FPL.
Cooper, I suggest you move away from this and move on to your other points, please.
I just wanted to make that clear. There are some other points I'd like to make.
With regard to the April 27th minutes, they were pulled from the consent agenda by Commissioner Bernard, so I'd ask you to lead us in that discussion.
April 27th, did you all receive the email from the clerk that had my comments on these 3 minutes? Commissioner Childress?
She said if she sent it out, I received it, yes.
Okay. So, April 27th, I had 7 items that are either items that are inaccurate or incomplete. And just as with the previous one, if you want to approve minutes that are inaccurate, have at it. If you want to approve minutes that disregard the emails from residents, have at it. If you want to think that it's divisive to demand accuracy and completion in minutes, have at it. The wording on the petition was inaccurate. Again, the 30-year contract was relying on verbal representations, and there were discussions in there that had specific importance that was not in the contract, and if we approve it, there will be no formal approval of it. There's the fact that so many residents spoke, and there's no indication of whether they were for or against it. There was a question that Commissioner Cooper asked relating to FPL's monetary influence, and the statement, quote, "no response was given," is not accurate. The fact that in all these minutes about this franchise agreement, the only detailed statements were the mayor's, and even those weren't complete, makes them incomplete. There's no indication that Commissioner Anderson provided any comments. Now, it didn't say much. It said Commissioner Bernard made comments, Commissioner Cooper made comments, but it didn't say Commissioner Anderson made comments, and obviously you did. That makes them incomplete and inaccurate. And the clarification by the FPL's attorney regarding our ability to distribute power is not included, and since it is not in the contract, if they choose to have a different interpretation in 5 years when we decide it's time and we can afford to put power on this building and transmit it elsewhere, if they say, no, you can't, is anybody here going to find that piece of video that says, yeah, you said we could? So those minutes are inaccurate and they're incomplete. And, you know, Commissioner Anderson, you talked about you want transparency. If you want to approve minutes that are not accurate and that are not complete, go ahead.
Do you have a motion, Commissioner Bernard?
I make a motion that we correct the items number 1 through 7, and I make, and I'll ask the clerk to do it because when I do it, people seem to have a problem. So I'll just leave it at it is not accurate and leave it to the clerk to make them correct.
Do you have a second? Do you have a second to Commissioner Bernard's motion?
I'll second it, but I need to talk, please, Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
There's a fundamental problem here, and I really only focused on one of them in the minutes, and that is the misstatement, really a complete misstatement that Commissioner Bernard and I, at the point of my question about FPL, remained silent with the rest of you, whereas the tapes will show, and I'm sure the camera will show, that indeed we both said no, okay? Yet we have these minutes not showing that. And it could be an honest mistake, and I'm saying that. But the appearance of such a gross error is a problem. And if we go ahead and just approve these minutes as they were written, and if we're going to be consistent, and you say we need to be consistent, and yet you all just voted to approve the prior group of minutes that we just dealt with and leave them the same, if you do that this time, and you leave that error in there, or you rub it out completely, then again, it's going to look really, really, really bad. And the first step that we can take, I think, to beginning to heal things here are to be sensitive to the accuracy that I think both Commissioner Bernard and I are striving for, because accuracy is integral to transparency. If you don't have the accuracy, you don't have the transparency. So I think it's important that we correct the minutes, and I sure hope you don't vote on these minutes the way you voted on the last minutes, because that's all I can say. So I do second Commissioner Bernard.
We have a motion and a second. Do you have further comment, Commissioner Childress?
No.
Commissioner Anderson?
The only comments I do have is we did list a number of people that spoke on this ordinance, but it doesn't indicate were they for or against. It has a listing on there. And maybe this particular one, since it is a very, very hot button item, maybe we should give our clerk, with no influence from the commission, to review these minutes and maybe update them.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. In accordance with Robert's rules, when summary minutes are done, it's actually preferred just to say that the speaker spoke, and on the topic was FP&L and the franchise agreement. So we, I think, have thoroughly exhausted the discussion. We have a motion and a second by
I had
Commissioner Bernard.
If you don't mind, I have a response to Commissioner Anderson.
Go ahead.
In the February in the March 2nd minutes that we just, or I'm sorry, the April 27th and the March 2nd, there were other people that spoke, and again, there was nothing saying pro or con, and you just voted on those to say no. So I think consistency is important.
So we have a motion and a second by Commissioner Bernard to return these minutes to the clerk and address items 1 through 7 in his email,
And including mine.
including Commissioner Cooper's comments in his email. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Nay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the minutes in accordance with the previous minutes that were approved on March 2nd, 2010, to be consistent that we accept the village clerk's submittal of the minutes.
Can I have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those against?
Nay.
Motion carries 3-2. That takes us to the May 26th minutes.